Here's how I use AI and a custom GPT to virtually pump out unlimited content for me in my voice and in my style and my tone, everything. So freaking incredible. And I'm gonna show you exactly what I do. What most people are doing wrong, and I'm already starting to laugh at this because I was guilty of this at first, and then I was like, this is so dumb. But most people are using ChatGPT and Claude or whatever, Grok. They're using AI, let's just put it like that. So freaking wrong. It's so stupid. When you put in a ChatGPT prompt, and I think most people are just lazy, man. And I hope you're not lazy like this, right? So I mainly work with like health and fitness coaches. That's my whole background. I own the gym and ran an online fitness business, and I've worked with over 500 online fitness coaches in their businesses, helping them build it. And so I know a thing or two about copywriting, especially when it comes to health and fitness coaching businesses. Like I've worked with big brands that are doing like that millions of followers, doing millions of dollars, to smaller brands that are in that 5 to 50K per month range. And so one thing I know to be true is what will work in the health and fitness space in terms of content and copy and what won't. I've worked with every niche possible. I give you that context because when I see ChatGPT try to pump out something, especially for health and fitness coaches, and this is true across any industry, is that it's like good in terms of the structure of the copy, but most of the time, if you don't give it the right inputs, it's going to give you something that to the untrained eye looks good, but it's really stupid in theory. Like how it asks questions. So you might go in there and so one time I pooped my pants. Can you relate? It's like, when would you ever go up to somebody in public and say, hey, getting leads is really hard. Can you relate? You wouldn't say that, right? So it's like unnatural how it does it. But in terms of quote unquote copywriting, it's just going off of a knowledge base that it currently has, especially if you're not using a GPT of copy. But the way it works today, in today's era, is the more you could just naturally speak, the more you write like you talk to a degree, and I'll explain more in a minute, the better it's going to perform. And so what I have found is that if you're using ChatGPT just the way ChatGPT is, even if you fed it some of your previous content or whatever, most of the time the content is still very ChatGPT and it's very vanilla, it's very vague, and it sounds dumb. But that's just my opinion. Here's how I use ChatGPT. Oh, you can't see anything. Boom. So I have what's called the Content Writing Ninja. This is a GPT that I personally created. And honestly, I created it for my clients. I have my own specific one down here, and it's called Jason's Copy Alchemist. I've created them the exact same way. Oh, I got to share this with you. It's called Jason's Copy Alchemist. All right. And I'm going to show you how I created the knowledge base, how I created the instructions, so you can replicate this. But I created one for me and one for clients. I help a lot of clients with copywriting, and I wanted them to be able to do it for themselves, right? Because I can pop back behind the scenes and do it. So this is a tool to help me help them and create more leverage within my business as well. And then they can go through my copywriting ninja and they could send me their copy for audits or reviews and things like that. But it helps save them a lot of time when they go through this process. And what we're going to walk through now is I'm going to show you how I created the instructions, which is really simple, how I created the knowledge base. Not as simple, it's pretty simple, but it'll take time for you to do it right. And then how to actually get the GPT or any AI to work best for you, at least in my experience. And so the first thing that I did, and I'll move over to this copywriting ninja, is edit GPT. Is instructions. And so I voice texted to get the instructions. So I basically walked through exactly what I wanted this GPT to do using my voice. So they're in ChatGPT, there's this, you see this little voice microphone looking thing. Sorry, it's like a microphone button. It dictates, right? I just talk into it for 5 or 10 minutes and I was like, hey, this is what I want the GPT to do. Can you create custom instructions? And so this one created custom instructions around like everything that I wanted it to help with. Landing pages, social content, stories, hooks, social posts, email copy. I taught it my magic messaging makeover, which is like a framework that I taught, right? I gave it exactly what I wanted to be: a copy clarity coach, a strategic editor, a framework guide, how it should sound, match the user's voice, but always lean towards what I know is going to work, not hypey, thoughtful, warm, and then they can change it themselves. My clients can. Avoid sounding robotic, vanilla, or overly polished, right? What to avoid: hypey phrases, fake urgency, generic advice, flat or overly formal, overly explaining things. And I've had to continue to refine this. So anyways, I basically I went into it and I voice texted exactly what I wanted it to do. And then it helped me create the instructions based upon that. Secondly, the knowledge base, and I'm going to show you 2 ways I've done the knowledge base. So I basically gave it proven copywriting frameworks, and I want to show you how I did this one. Edit GPT. For my own personal one, I literally fed it. I've been in this game for a long time, so I have hundreds and hundreds of posts that we've collected. It's going to take a while to load this, but basically just know that this is post. I gave it hundreds of video transcripts of me that I've done YouTube videos on, podcast episodes, masterclasses. I gave it my whole, what I call my avatar detail, or what I call my program, the Magic Messaging Makeover. I gave her different content types that I use at least. And so one of the reasons that this works is that the knowledge base is what it pulls from. The instructions is how it operates. The knowledge base is like its brain. And so it works because I already fed it my voice, right? I fed it my hundreds of my posts, hundreds of my transcripts, everything about my avatar. I voice text into it, all that stuff. So it understands my everything. And so one of the things inside my client's GPT that I give to my clients is that they have to pay, it prompts them to post their Magic Messaging Makeover. And for them to do it right, they have to share a lot of their content, a lot of their transcripts. And then it keeps a thread for them to where they can now have awesome content be produced for them in minutes. And so one of the secrets of this is, if you are not a great copywriter, and if you don't have loads of successful content, or if you don't have loads of successful transcripts that you have from videos that you've done that have converted, to be honest, you're going to have a mediocre ChatGPT bot. So having like really good copy is key, right? And so I'm happy to, if you want to be able to see my actual GPT and test it out, you totally can. So you can see like what to do. Just let me know and I'm happy to send it to you or show you how I can give it to you. And then the third piece to make this work is I don't prompt it typically by just writing a prompt or trying to engineer the perfect prompt. What I have found works is, and I call this my brain dumping, is I will pull up the GPT and I will do one of 2 things. I will say, hey, I'm going to just go ahead and word vomit on you. I'm going to freaking brain dump on you. I'm just going to throw all this stuff out there on you. I just want you to like take everything that I say. I want you to maintain my authentic voice, which it already knows how to do, but I say it anyway. I want you to just basically take what I say and organize it for me into a compelling email or post or whatever. And then I just freaking go. I just like riff. And I'll be like, so blah, 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 blah. And yeah. And then I'll say, hey, if there's anything that you feel like you can make it better, pull from the knowledge that you have. So they might pull a story that I've shared with it in the knowledge base or things like that to make it more just a better post or whatever. And so what ends up happening is I will go back through. So we can call this the 10-80-10 strategy. I'm doing the first 10%. I'm the one that's idea generating. Oh my God. Whew. Idea generating. And then it's helping just to save me time by coming up with because it knows how I write. It just pulls from all the knowledge, right? And then I do 10%. I go back through and I just make sure that it's not stupid. Like it's not saying like random questions or whatever. And I fix that up. And then it's good to go. And then the other way I go about doing it is I'll do the same process, but I'll feed it a transcript. So like literally I could take this exact YouTube video and I could give it the transcript and I could tell it exactly what I want it to do and it'll work. And so again, the most important parts are the instructions and the knowledge base. If the knowledge base is like mediocre content that you're feeding it, like you're giving it examples of mediocre stuff, it's going to suck. If you're giving it a bunch of other people's examples, it's not going to sound like you. So the best way is like and if you don't have successful content, just try to like be yourself. I don't know. Just start creating, like just go and bring a voice recorder around with you and just start to talk, help people, share your stories, do stuff like that. And the more you could do that, and you might have to train it, teach it. It takes a lot. It takes not an insane amount of work, but it takes a bit of work. But when you do it right, it's so cool. Like you'll be able to have a pretty efficient engine that help you produce content. And then the last thing I'll say on this is I don't want to just rely on ChatGPT to create my content, or any of them, not whatever. You get what I'm saying? I like to have a core source that like is within your zone of genius. What I mean is, for me, you put a microphone in front of me, I'm going to be able to talk. Like I don't have to have a script or anything like this. This is my zone of genius, is video, speaking. I could just go. And I usually will base all of my creation off of one core video a week. So like most of my posts will come from this video that I do. I'll share different pieces of content. And so I am making sure that the creation comes from me, and then GPT is a tool to help me repurpose it or help me come up with more of the written version. Versus somebody might be really good at writing. Maybe they want to write a daily newsletter or a weekly newsletter or something. And then they might feed that in to create video scripts for them based upon their vote. You see what I'm saying? And so use a GPT not as a crutch, not as I'm a lazy person and I don't want to actually do the work, right? Don't use it like that, or you're going to continue to not get results. Use it as a tool to create more efficiency. So you always want to create from you and then allow it to take your creation and help you come up with other ways to share it, if that makes sense. So that's how I'm using GPTs right now for myself and for clients to be able to create maximum leverage, and literally, virtually, I can create unlimited pieces of content from this if I wanted to. So use it wisely. And if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, hope you found this video helpful. Peace.